In order to replace the staple cartridge on the machine, you lift the handle. There's a little release lever in the back. You take your finger, you push that button down, you pull the cover forward. When that cover comes out, you put the handle back down. The cartridge is in this section right here. Here's the cartridge. You have to pull up on the back of the cartridge. You can see it actually has a little bit of tension on it, and it pulls up. If any of the staples have moved forward in the cartridge into this area, say, if you see the staples like up in this area, take them and just slide them backwards, push them down, and then they're fine. To install, you push it on an angle like so, and then when you get to the back, it goes in and it snaps in place. See, it cannot come out. Once you go forward, it locks in. That's as far as the cartridge goes. To put the lid back on, everything in reverse. There's two little notches on the side here. There's one on this side and one on this side. Right here, you line up these two little notches. And once those are in place, you push this down, and it'll lock that clip. Lower this handle down, and it's ready to start stapling. All right, before I start to staple on the Max EH-50F, I want to adjust the depth adjustment, which is located here on the side. I don't want it all the way forward. See, it just kicked out a staple because the switch that activates the staple is all the way forward. And if I go to staple right now, it's going to get all screwed up and start stapling all kinds of weird or not staple at all. See, it'll start not stapling at all. So normally the best spot, and if you put it to the back also, before I tell you the best spot is not to go there either, because you get the same type of results sometimes. It'll start to staple like kind of messed up. Seems to be working fine now. But I've noticed that you can get a lot of errors, especially to the front. It'll start to not staple at all. So I think the best spot on this thing is like somewhere in the middle here. Somewhere in the middle is the best spot. So if you get it into the middle location, see? All right, now you can do corners if you want. There's a corner adjustment thing inside there. So it will do corners. So if you turn it and get the corner side pushed in, it will do a corner. So, but otherwise it'll work just fine. I think the best adjustment, like I said, is in the middle. Okay? Now as far as removing jams, and also you have to watch when you put the paper in, because there's no upper guide on this thing. So I can actually go up and over the top a little bit too. Sometimes you can go up high. So far I'm still catching the switch. But again, sometimes you can actually shoot up and over. But at the moment, it seems to be working just fine. So, okay. All right, now, we'll open this thing back up again. Lift the handle, push the button in the back, pull this forward. Okay, comes off. And you can remove this out of the unit. Now, for the jam removal thing, to make sure that you have the jams completely removed, or to remove a small piece that's stuck, like if the cartridge left a small piece of one of the previous staple rows in the machine, in order to get that out, you have to make sure this is pushed forward, and you have to push this thing up all the way. With it pushed up all the way, you'll be able to clear any other objects that are in here. You can push your finger inside of there, and you'll be able to clear like any type of little jams or anything similar to this thing here. And this is a previous one that would have been jammed in there, and something like that. So you can remove those type of jams. Okay. Now, if I look down in here, there is a small piece of staple that did not completely finish, so it was partially fed in out of the cartridge already. So like I said, if you want to use that piece, it's fine. You lay it back down here, push the remaining staples in the cartridge down, slide them all back, and push them down. Make sure they're not hanging off the edge or anything, and they're nicely attached together. Alright, and make sure they go back into the cartridge all the way. Then just look down inside the unit. There's nothing in there. Push this thing down, make sure it locks all the way forward. Make sure you push the stapler unit down, the jam removal part down, and clip it so that it's clipped in place so it can't come up. And then reattach the cover. And then we should be right back into doing some stapling here. Alright, cover that. Alright. Alright, see, it took a couple times before it started to staple because it had to feed. Remember, we pushed all those staples back into the cartridge, so a couple pulses, and then it started to staple again. Okay, so that's it for the EH-50F. Pretty good little stapler, a little finicky, but it's a pretty nice little stapler. Fold this over, here's a couple extra sheets together. Nice. Okay, that's it.